Welcome to Herself360.com. Thank you so much for joining us and taking a look at women of interest, which today we have Tara. She's a fashionista and she's going to help you. She's going to help you with your fashion, some mom tips probably, and a lot of background. She's got very interesting stories and I can't wait for her to share them with you. So get ready. You ready, Tara?
I'm ready.
All right.
Do it.
All right, let's do it. So Tara, I want to start at the beginning because you have an incredible background of what came way before you got to where you are now.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, well, people always ask me, how did I get into fashion? And I'm from LA, so I was kind of born into fashion. And it was always very important for my family, and my family was very dysfunctional, but it was very important that no matter what went on, that you came dressed. And so my grandmother was my best friend, and so we used to go shopping and fashion shows, and that was our thing that we did together.
Yeah, and it's reflective. I mean, I saw pictures on your site, and it's so reflective. So, you know what, and speaking of your grandmother, if I may say that, because my friends always cry when I'm doing these interviews. This is one when I spoke with you about your grandmother, and she was ill, and she was dying, if I may say.
Yeah.
And you walked in, and she said...
Right, so it was the last time I saw her, and I walked in, and she said, "My whole world has just arrived." Yeah. And, I mean, it gives me the chills. And my brother was there, and even when we talk about it, you could cry.
Yeah, I could cry. I'm ready to cry now because I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
It was an incredible relationship.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was lucky to have that. I don't know if, not everybody has that. Hopefully they have it with somebody, but she happened to be the person that I call her my true definition of love. She was.
Absolutely. Thank you. So now let's move forward. Because now you're from LA, you're in Boston. Bet you didn't have an easy time infiltrating here. Because I'm not from here, and they do pick you out, and they let you know that you're not from here. We can tell.
Right.
So how'd you get it?
The transition was not easy. Well, I went to school in upstate New York, so I kind of had a little bit of the East Coast. Mm-hmm. But while everybody stayed in the snow, I got to go to the beach. But I moved here, and I feel like it's a little. First of all, fashion is so different here. Mm-hmm. Number one, you really need a coat, and I really didn't have one. But it's a little more. Back when I moved here, it was a little more. Clothes. People I like to say their shirt was all buttoned up to the top, but now I think people have loosened up a little and they'll maybe unbutton one or two. But so the transition was hard. I think that it changed when I had kids. When you have kids, I think people are more open to meeting you, and it's almost impossible not to meet somebody. So but when I first moved here, I was a therapist, a marriage and family therapist. And so I worked with a lot of older people. And so I really wasn't able to form friendships there because most of the therapists were, significantly older.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've had some transformations, quite a few. Yeah. So you have kids.
I do. I have 3.
Okay. And then you're moving into something totally different with the fashion world.
Right.
How do you break into that?
So I was always a shopper. I think that helped. But, I really didn't know how this was going to go. Am I going to follow my face or is it going to work? So I just launched, I had 2 parties at stores. I told literally everybody I'd ever met in Boston to come. I didn't know if anybody was going to come. At that point, I had 3 kids, so I knew a lot of people, and people came. And then they started asking me to go in their closets. And I would say 2 years ago, I have a mentor. So my mentor said, you have to be on social media, Instagram. I said, there's no way. There's no way I'm putting myself out there. I dress people. I'm behind the scenes. And she said, oh, you have to. And so I listened to her, and with a great deal of resistance. And now my business has grown into so many different directions. It's really taken off.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Something you mentioned too, when you have your events, you do something that other people don't. Like it's a preview. You tell your story.
Well, that just happened to be so. Film media, they're called Longwood Media. Yes. They wanted to do a film about me.
That's what it was.
So they approached me about 5 months ago and said, can we do a story about you and how you became a fashion blogger? Now, I know I have a story, so that was a very difficult decision for me to make. Do I want to share my story? But I feel like my story is interesting, and I also think that it can inspire people. But it takes a lot for myself to do that. So I decided that after they made the movie, that I was going to throw a party and screen it, because nobody had ever done it before for them. So it was actually me giving a gift to them as they had given me a gift to tell my story. Okay. So I threw the party, and probably about 60 people come. Maybe 3 people in the room knew my story. Nobody else did. So it was a people said it was an incredible party, but I think that it was an experience. So that was pretty cool.
You got a lot of feedback afterwards, right? I
did.
Yeah. I mean, people had to be, first of all, impressed by your story, but also it's like, wow, and she put that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to, when I hadn't seen it before, because I didn't want to see it before. It was their work, and I would be like, I have double chins, or, what I would focus on the wrong thing. So I didn't want to see it till the night of. And so when I did watch it, it was hard for me to watch and take it all in. So I think like 2 months later I watched it. But people have been blown away.
That's great.
Yeah, which I think says a lot, because first of all, for social media, you can create whoever you are. And people have an idea of who you are in life too. And I think that when you can really tell people who you are and you have a story, it's, you can only respect them and appreciate the work that they've done to get there. And people don't know that about me, because I don't present myself that way.
I think a lot of people are afraid to say anything about themselves, because we'll think that we're being egotists by doing that people will think that about you.
I think my biggest thing was I didn't want to be judged. And I'm in a strong community. People have known me for a long time. I have 3 kids. It's my own thing, though, because people are so kind, but it's to really let them know who you are is a scary thing.
Sure, absolutely.
It's letting your walls down.
How do you balance? You've got 3 kids, you've got your business, you've got your husband. Are you still a therapist too? Okay, I didn't think so, but I just thought I'd throw it in. It's like, what else does she do?
Well, no, actually, there's a lot of psychology in what I do, because I say this on my video too, is that if you like what you're wearing when you wake up, when you leave the house in the morning, you're probably going to have a pretty good day. If you feel good about yourself, you're going to probably have a better day than if you put something on and you're complaining and it's too tight, or then you kind of self-deprecate and it goes negative. But no, I'm not a therapist anymore. But how do I juggle it all?
Yes.
I have no idea. I wake up at 5 a.m. That's when I start my day. I work out every day. That is my time. And then it all goes from there.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But I love what I do.
And so that's what makes the difference. And that's how you make it all work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now, having said all this, what is it that I may not have even asked you about that you want to talk to this community of women, that they should know about you, or something that you'd like to give them?
Well, what I like to say is it's really important to love who you are and love yourself. And I grew up in LA, and it was always about being really thin and looking your best always. I mean, that's just what I grew up with. And so I was always trying to be something that literally I couldn't at the time, because that's not how my body was going. So I would say, and I say to my girls, and even my son, is, like who you are. Your choices are going to be different than somebody else's choices, and they might not agree, but be confident in your choice and who you are, and, that will make you happy with yourself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And now more than ever, with all the bullying and things going on, and you're imparting it. Your kids are little, aren't they?
Yes, 11, 9, and 7.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's never too early to start. And you're instilling the confidence in them that they should have.
So when I was my girl's age, probably 9, people started counting calories. And so my girls have absolutely no idea what that means, which is amazing. They should not have any idea. But also, my girls don't know what labels they're wearing. I mean, they have an idea of what they like to wear, but that is not a conversation you would think is funny because of what I do. But I don't push it on them. But most important, I just want them to like who they are and be confident in themselves.
No, that's key. Thank you. Listen, thank you for sitting down with me.
Thank you.
This is great to meet you and hear your story. And thank you for being a part of our Women of Interest on Herself360.com. Please come back and join us. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.